Yo everybody, what's going on? This is Keegan from Kman Reviews bringing you the next episode of Review Recall. This will cover about most of the albums I listened to in June, and of course some extras I missed last month. Now of course this won't cover every single album, that is a monstrous task I can't do, so I have pushed some of them over to July, but let's not waste any more time. Let's dive into the albums. Yes, 100 times yes. 80s charisma, gritty, grungy rock riffs, all killer, no filler. Certainly not trying to fill in the empty shoes his dad left behind, and I'm kind of happy for that. I think he has a very promising career in modern rock if he keeps this stuff up. This was excellent. It'll please the fans of the genre, but stuff like this just can't really captivate me for a full album. Some of the tracks on here were pretty solid, but in the context of a full 18-track album, just too long for me. 20 years in and the band still has a burning fire in them. The lyrics feel very relevant, the performance is very nostalgic and familiar to someone who's enjoyed this band a lot like myself. This is such a great record. Might just clinch a year-end spot for me. Great stuff. At this point, Liz really couldn't go anywhere but up after the train wreck that was Fun Style. And this definitely is a major improvement. Warm melodies, earworm choruses, not really up to the caliber of her opuses, but still, this is some good stuff. Wow. Mid. A gentle, sugary singer-songwriter collection of tracks with some delicate melodies and a bright, diverting message about how our sorrows will eventually pass. Sign me up. So I didn't watch the full special that came along with this, purely just the album, and I think that might have been a mistake, as it feels like that was a key element missing here. So I will have to get around to that, but as an album, it's fine. The musical aspect is pretty alright. Bo's always had a great voice in my opinion. He can convey any emotion he wants to really well if a song needs it. I feel like as comedy, however, it's a bit lacking. Kind of just feels like resorting to old tropes that have been done to death already, and some songs here actually feel pretty underdeveloped. Although I'd be lying if I said I didn't get a chuckle out of songs like Sexting and Welcome to the Internet, plus 30 and All Eyes on Me are both pretty hard-hitting songs in general. It's not terrible at all, it's quite good actually, but again, I just feel like I need to see the actual special to fully grasp this. If anything, this album is a warm send-off of original material from a rock icon and a legendary songwriter. Just glad there's nothing like Mr. Roboto on this. This is an okay hyperpop record here, very abrasive, nice hooks, even some slower tracks to kind of even it all out. But honestly, this is just not top tier for me. I do think there's a sense of aimlessness and there are blemishes here that kind of hinder the album, and a lot of the time that can be traced back to pretty shoddy production, and just how the whole thing doesn't feel like her best. Loved this quaint little album, plus a pretty decently strung together concept about two differing characters overcoming a toxic relationship. If you're looking for some kind of catchy electronic pop rock in your life, check this out. I mean, I guess it was better than your average trap album. A bit more memorable, a bit more bangers scattered throughout, so I mean, take that for what you will. I kind of tend to shove Jonathan Roy into the background when it comes to these Canadian singer-songwriters I enjoy. He's not the best, but he also isn't the worst. But I can't help but just get magnetized to this EP, and the raw, unfiltered emotional performance is just flourishing on this. It's a short 6-track EP, and it's damn good. Check this one out. Lead vocalist Randy Frodell described this record as a collection of songs that focuses on being down but not out. We've experienced many of life's ups and downs, we've lost relationships, friends, and family, and have gone through a lot of unexpected challenges that life has a tendency to throw at you when you least expect it. However, no matter what may have tried to keep us down or hold us back, we always take the hit and keep pushing forward, and I do not think I've heard a more accurate depiction of a record in years. While there were some real bangers on this record, Rap Star, Broken Guitars, and Black Hearted are fantastic. As a whole listen, this was pretty mid. Way too long, not enough here to warrant coming back to a full 20-track project. I don't know, it's much like most rap albums nowadays. I'll take the gems, but I will leave the rough behind. Fun, optimistic, yet often instrumentally bleak and grim? I'll be going in for seconds. This is the debut record from Perfect Plan vocalist Kent Hilli, someone who in my opinion has one of the most fully fleshed out voices in music today. And akin to that album cover, this just knocked it out of the park for me. It's quite distinct from a Perfect Plan album, where those ones had much more emphasis on guitars and solos. This one kind of just focuses more so on the musical structure of a song and just a catchy melody. Guitars seem to take a backseat here. And while I don't think it soars as much as, say, Time for a Miracle does, but this is still pretty damn good. What happened? I really admire Marshmello for putting a sample of someone calling him an overrated producer on Supernova Cane. That was pretty funny, but honestly, it really is just a new Marshmello album. Not much I can really say about this new Ruth B album. Her voice is as gripping as ever, single-handedly carrying some of the more instrumentally weak moments on the record. It's not anything remarkable in my opinion, but I don't really see anyone hating this at all. It's some good stuff. Lead vocalist of ZZ Top's latest record here, and my god, this was just fun. A signature gravelly voice over this almost desert rock album. You know what I mean, very rough, very southern, that whole sort of thing. I just thought this was fun. I really enjoyed it. So the album starts with a cover of American Nights by the Night Game, and not a particularly good one, and aside from the song You, this was just another mediocre mainstream country album. No, they're not. You know, Gucci's catalog is so plentiful and deep and full of great stuff that if he just wants to stick to his MO of one project a year, sticking with tradition, doing the same thing and pumping out a mostly good project with an occasional miss scattered here and there, then I am all for it if the bangers are that good, and they certainly are here. I did enjoy this record quite a bit, actually. Pretty eclectic and risky, yet also emotional and proud. There's definitely a song for everybody on here, but I don't know, I'm just not yet behind the hype that this is one of the best things to ever happen in music, as the consensus seems to show. It didn't quite grab me in that way. Maybe I need to give it more listens to fully understand it, but, I mean, I still liked it. Okay, wow, this album is amazing, and why have I never heard of this band before? It's so airtight, compact, nothing feels out of place, and it's just enough to leave you full without being uncomfortably stuffed. High-octane bangers, hearty, slow, passionate tracks here and there. I adored this. Great stuff. So this is the debut solo EP from Ryan McKinley, guitarist and vocalist of Canadian punk band Pew Pew Pew. And right off the bat, this is quite the divergence from that sound, diving headfirst into this alternative, dreamy pop lane, a little bit artsy, kind of indie as well. There's a lot to like here, and I see so much potential for where this solo project could go in the future. So I'll be honest, I never really hated Styx. I know there's this whole stigma that's like, oh, you can't be a critic if you like Styx because they focus way too much on sounding good instead of actually saying something or some kind of bullshit like that. But I thought this was pretty solid. Wasn't perfect. I think the biggest flaw this record has is that it doesn't really have a hit on it. Most Styx records tend to have that one song that just clicks and is like instantly replayable. I don't think this one really has one of those, but if you want to kill 43 minutes and listen to a new rock record, you could do much worse than this. This was a very surprising release to me, and each song stands out with different tempo, energy, and style. Very satisfying listen. Perfect length. Great stuff. So this is the first taste of new music from these Scottish rockers in 19 years. Haven't been too familiar with their previous work, but I was curious to give this new album a listen, and I thought this was great. Justin Currie's vocals have aged so gracefully, sticky melodies and wonderful arrangements all over this. What a great return for the band. Good stuff here. So I wasn't crazy about the Life of H.E.R. 4 when I first heard it. Back then it just wasn't my sound, so after hearing this, I'm starting to think my tastes are morphing because I enjoyed this one. Okay, first half, pretty safe. Generic contemporary country, nothing special. The second half, wow, that was some good stuff. Artistic growth, lyrical maturity, sonic diversity. Those 4 tracks in the second half would have made a phenomenal EP. So I listened to the full deluxe version of this, and never before have I heard an album so visibly lengthy, but yet with each track being memorable to some extent, and the whole thing being a pretty great listen of electronic industrial noise pop. So this is another new album from another Scottish rock band, and I really messed with this one. A lot of genre experimentation, very creative, risky, and playful as well, and a lot of the time I think that broadness really sticks. Great stuff. Okay, so I'm very new to Black MIDI, so I had no clue what to expect diving into this record, and wow, what a trip. Unpredictable, cacophonous, and yet still weirdly catchy and enthralling. Normally, I'm not huge on obscene amounts of pandemonium in my music, but this wasn't bad. Not quite my thing where I'd give it all the praise it's been getting, but certainly a solid release. So I really wanted to give this the full-length review treatment, but I didn't have the time to, so I kind of had to cram it in here. And this one feels a lot darker than some of other Mother albums I've heard, but yet it kind of continues that energy and tone of their earlier work, especially in songs like I Got Love and Sick of the Silence. Not my personal favorite in their catalog, but this is a very good release nonetheless. Honestly, one of the most fun, catchy, enjoyable, and memorable modern country albums I've heard. Much like the Megan Patrick album, this one shocked me too. If this album is anything, it is dense. It's lyrically jam-packed, and to my best description, this album is a full 3-course meal that would absolutely satisfy and please anyone who enjoys this kind of stuff, but to others, this may be overly filling. It is a late career AFI album. Not great, not bad, just fine. Hello, yes, Tyler. I'm just calling because I got lost in your album. The grandiose yet tight themes, the fascinatingly enjoyable list of features, the fusion of new and old, and the sheer amount of passion and dedication to the genre really shines through on this new record. What do you mean this is the wrong number? Wait, what do you mean Igor was better? But what can a song do? Well, in this case, pretty solid stuff. Mario Kart's kind of a bop. That's about it. You see, what made the first Culture so good was its concise track list, instantly sticky melodies, and a fluid camaraderie between Quavo, Offset, and Takeoff. Culture 3 has none of those. Man, I sure do love getting exactly what I expected with an EP, and nothing more. You know, it's a good EP, but, you know, it's also a good EP, you know what I'm saying? Well, the gang's all here, and as a result released one of their best records in decades. Pretty damn good stuff. Alright guys, and that is going to do it for this episode of Review Recall. Thank you all so much for watching, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to see more reviews in the future, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.